has a unique art experience. Her experience is so unique in the kinds of materials that you use and that you learned from your father,
my uncle,
and your uncles.
my great aunt, who came out of Angola, came through the Middle Passage.
She did?
And passed on those stories from the time I was 3 up until her death in 1957.
Wow.
And you listened?
With my sketchbook, with my little note, Hallmark paper. Yes. You know what? My father kept all of that work from 1943 until 1953. Way back in a big box where nobody goes, back in the cellar. Nobody. And then when my mother died in 95, my brother-in-law was cleaning out the house, and he went back there and he says, Aminah, there's a big box of old stuff that belongs to you. You want to throw it out, or what do you want to do with it?
That's right.
I said, well, I'll hold on to it for the time being. But I never looked in the box.
You didn't look in the box?
I didn't look in the box. I put that big box in my trunk and a block away, took it home. And then when the museum exhibit was coming about, they asked me, how far back can you go?
Wow.
Let's look in the box.
Wow.
All right.
There were over 2,000 pieces.
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Old stuff, just old stuff.
Oh my God.
Old
And
stuff.
so how old were you when the pieces that were in the box? What was your age when you did that?
3 until 12.
Really?
We kept all of that stuff in the box, every bit of it.
That's serious support.
Yeah, because see what happens
That's
is,
serious.
We have stuff like that my mother's kept for Barbara and I. 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, pictures, you know.
but you
Just
have to
put it
have
in the box.
control over the box.
Yeah, that's true.
Because what's normal is that people will
But
throw
you
that
have to-
box away.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you have to
well,
have a vision to keep the box. Who keeps that kind of box for their
You
children?
have to have control over
To
it.
the museum.
Because if you don't,
It's going to
you have
get
to have
wet.
control over your life. Because if you move it around, a lot of stuff gets lost.
Am I wrong to think a lot of parents just get rid of that stuff? As a matter of fact, Dawn was saying she's afraid to send the work home with the children.
Oh, that is true.
Because what happens to the work? I don't know.
Well, you know, sometimes they don't understand.
Yeah, the children don't get the value.
It's very hard to
They
understand.
don't get it. Some
Something that's
parents
not
don't
going to mean
understand
anything
how
until 50
wonderful
years
their
later.
children's work is. And, you know, everybody can't know everything, so they get rid of it. That's why it's so fabulous that children now make quilts.
Yes.
Because what they can do is each one can make their piece, and the teachers sew them together, and that's not getting thrown out.
It isn't?
No, because it's being kept by the school.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
that's
It's
what's
very difficult for others in the beginning to really understand what this.
Who were these people who were there in 1200?
They were Africans. They came through Lake Erie.
Really? I didn't know they came that early.
Yeah, they came. That's what my uncle said.
1600 was the earliest.
No, they didn't come as slaves.
No.
And they also brought their families.
All right.
And they brought their children. And some stayed at different areas of Ohio. Many stopped in Columbus on the very land that.
You might like to stand and talk. I like to.
Okay. On the very, thank you.
You're welcome.
On the very land that Poindexter is situated. That's why I always refer to Poindexter, because that's where everything came out of.
Yeah.
It's a long history.
Yeah.
But now they're going to tear it down,
Really?
all of these public housing.
Oh, well.
But my concern is that they somehow not forget this historical.
Well, you're gonna be part of keeping it alive.
Well,
artist.
I've been trying,
Yeah.
but it takes more than one little person.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't.
See, that's what I learned from you. One of the things I learned from you,
Yeah.
to, you know, you gotta stay in the fight.
Yeah,
You
just
gotta
do it.
stay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Min and I first met in 1989.
88 at the Drawing Center when Benny Andrews was curating.
Uh-huh.
And you came with Bernie Stein.
Okay.
And he had a panel discussion and invited me. And he tried to say that my work was a collage. I said, I don't work in collages.
Now, who was that who said that?
That was Benny Andrews.
Oh, Benny. Oh, Benny. Benny is not with us anymore.
I know.
So we don't want to really go into him that much.
Well, he said, what is it? I said, they're rag drawings.
Yeah.
So that's what they are. He
Yeah.
says, well, they're rag drawings.
Yeah. And isn't that interesting? Benny Andrews has some of the, I don't know what to call it exactly, not the quality, but some of the
essence?
yeah, you see what I mean?
Yes.
Benny, but it's not at all, it's not spiritual. But there's some aspect of what you have to offer. It's in his drawings, huh? I've got several of them here. And but as it seems like as he got older, his drawings sort of faded and got lighter and lighter and lighter. Were you aware of that? His latest ones, just
I don't
before he
know if
died.
I've seen his latest ones.
Is that it?
His stroke was lighter.
Or our eyes are paler, seeing it.
What?
Your eyes aren't as good.
Yeah, but I mean that's true too, but not that much.
Okay.
Huh? No, very, 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 almost you can't see it. It's like almost empty. I mean, it's like almost not there, the drawings. I'm serious. But they are.
And the journeys. So I began to do bodies of work on journeys.
So that whole movement inspired you.
Oh yes, but it was also healing.
Right.
Because I had experienced a lot of injustices at a very young age. And didn't know how. So my father did the best he could to tell me that has nothing to do with it. Don't you leave that school. And I didn't. Art school was the place where I began my work ethic. I started to, we carried 12, 14 courses in art school. I loved it. You had to do homework every day, every night. Young people walked everywhere. They didn't drive cars. So you carry from downtown, you know, the art school is next door to the museum. Carried all your materials home, walk home, but you can look around and make observational penetrations, and it was a very wonderful life in doing that. Well, I don't know. It was very difficult. It was very difficult to maintain your grades because because once I got home, I did my homework, but I also did my own work. So there are different bodies of work, and I think that's something that's difficult for people to decipher.
Yeah. But you kept doing it. And that's
Oh, I
important.
kept doing it. Oh, yes. Never stopped. Stayed on the path.
Right.
The path that the others placed me on.
You were a good kid.
No, I wasn't.
Seemed to be like you
No,
were.
I wasn't. I refused to, I'm born Catholic.
Oh,
I refused to go to Catholic school. Wouldn't go. Wouldn't go. Get a spanking. My mother tell me I'm 6 now. Started in my 2 sisters tell on me. Brenda didn't go to school.
So you played hooky at 6?
I had my sketchbook.
Oh,
Sit on the.
well, that's okay.
I didn't want to go to Catholic school. Well, as I look back, it's because the sisters had that rule.
Oh, the rule.
I didn't want to go.
That stick.
I wouldn't go. My mother spanked me, and I had to say Hail Marys. I said, I'll be good. I'll go to school tomorrow. They go that way, I go this way.
I think they have a pretty good school system.
But
The Catholic.
they have an excellent school system, but it wasn't for me.
Okay,
And I knew that. So my mother told my father, and my father said, leave her alone, put her in Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon was 10 steps away from the house. School, public school.
Yeah.
So I went there.
Okay, good.
All through public school, they went through Catholic school.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't go. I just wouldn't go. No,
All right.
just wouldn't go.
I went to public school.
I did too. I did too.
Without a doubt. Yeah. But I was 10 years. I'm 10 years older than her, so I had a whole different experience in the '60s because I was older. Yeah, because the artist knows.
He went around.
I'm the only one that knows.
He went around America and got artists in different cities and included them in this exhibition.
Oh, wow.
And I thought
And this was in 19 what?
88.
80?
Yes.
1988.
And that's when I first met you.
He curated the show for the Drawing Center.
The Drawing Center.
Could I ask, what was it called? The exhibition?
Drawings from the Untaught, or something about the untaught.
But you weren't untaught, and neither was he. You were not untaught, and neither was he.
But nobody knew about my work or anything. They
So-
just, I've been called so many different things.
Yeah, but
I mean, just different things, just called, labeled all kinds of things. I mean, and then now, they want to call me an artist. I said, I'm not an artist. What I do is take walks.
Influence of the untaught?
Huh?
Influences of the untaught.
Yes. You
Oh,
got
wow.
it. She's got it.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's too fast for me.
You had it pretty close too.
that is very interesting.
Yes, that's where I first met you. But it's not where I first seen your work. A friend of mine
Was
said,
I in that show?
no, you just came to
See this show?
to hear the panelists.
Oh, wow.
And then we were in the exhibition, the quilt exhibition.
Oh, yes, that was very exciting.
We spent time in
Yes,
Williams.
and then we went and stayed in this old house. Who was that?
I
Whose
was
house
afraid
was
to
that?
get in that bed.
I know you told me.
It's pink, all beautiful. I didn't even have a bed. I mean, and this was just,
Yeah, it was very old. Whose house was it? Do you
I have
remember?
no idea.
Where's Michelle? Michelle knows all about it. I have the archives on it, the whole thing, but
Whereabouts was the quilts exhibition?
it was some president's home actually. Because Williams College is the place where a lot of presidents went to school.
Ah,
Williams
is that
College
at
in,
Williams College?
Boston. Massachusetts.
in Massachusetts. A lot of presidents went there to school. And we stayed in the president's house.
That was
That
some
old
house.
house, it was really a landmark
It was
building.
beautiful.
Yeah. I
Just
remember that.
absolutely.
Mhm. It was very historically moving experience, and there were several of us, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there were like
yes.
6 of us or 7 or what?
Oh, I think there were more than that.
I
There
think
were
you're
about
right.
12, 13,
Yes,
something like that.
yes. Very wonderful.
And then I asked you, no, you asked me, you said, well, what do you want to do? Because you said, well, we're in this quilt show. I said, I'm not a quilter. I make rigonons. I don't make quilts. I don't know anything about quilting. So I said, I want to make these limited edition books, these prints, because I have tried to do that, but just wasn't able to.
Right.
But, so I just do one of a kind.
One of the-
And you said, you go to Bob Blackburn and tell him I sent you. I went to Bob Blackburn after I got a residency through the Ohio Arts Council.
Wonderful.
Yes, at PS1. And so I went there after I would spend time in the studio. And I said, Faith Ringgold sent me. He got on the phone and called me. He said, this artist is here, said that you, and before I knew, he had an etching plate in my hand.
Oh, yeah.
And I never left it. I still work with the print shop to this
Oh, you
day.
still work with them
Oh,
now?
yes. I
All
will
right.
never, I'm
Yeah,
very
Phil
loyal.
Phil Sanders.
Phil Sanders.
He's coming today.
He's coming.
Phil's gonna
Oh,
come. He said
I've
he's
never
looking.
met him,
That's
but
what
we
he said.
have worked since Bob has passed.
Right.
He's
But
looking
tell
forward
me
to
this,
meeting you.
Did you ever work with Bob?
Every day for 7 months.
I told you, Faith, from 5 to 10. No, from
Yeah, in the morning from 8 because they wouldn't open at 4. They wouldn't let me in at PS1. So I went there at 8 until 5. I would leave and go to Bob Blackburn's print shop and work there until 11 or 12. And come home and do my work.
I never printed with Bob.
Yes, and then when I came home after 7 months, he would call me. You still making prints? You still working on? You got some? Do you have some wood blocks to send? What you have some work? You still work? I say yes. I will be sending them because with each body of work, I've always wanted these homemade books, these limited editions.
That's great that he did that. I'm glad you told me that. Because,
So that's
as I said, Bob came to me in 19...
It is.
What talent? You know, what is that?
hard work.
It's hard work in the final analysis. That's what it is.
Right. And I've told the children, I've had that conversation with them. And so, like, I'm listening right now because I really need my notebook because I'll go back to school and go, here's what I heard. This because they know that I come to the garden party. So, even though there's only one more day of school tomorrow, in September, there are children who go, what happened at the garden party? What did you hear? What did you learn? So I keep my ears open and snap some pictures so they can, whatever I hear that's going to inspire, I'll take back to the classroom.
She's a wonderful artist also.
Thank you.
See, when I was in college, in art school, I learned to copy the great masters of European painters. These Picasso, you know, those guys, whatever. Because my professors told us, you're not going to be an artist, so don't even think about it. You know, you're not, we're going to teach you all about it, you know, but you're not going to be an artist because, you know, you're just not. So don't even think that. And I think it was interesting. When did you do your first mature work?
I never thought of it in terms of mature work. It was always an evolution.
Okay.
And it was the way these observational penetrations that my father, the skills that my father gave to me, and didn't teach us how to, my sisters and I, how to go out in the yard and make Hallmark books and paper. Now the books, there's a set of books that is 22 years, that was 22 years in the making. 10 volumes. I call it Rag Mud Collection.
Aminah, tell me what rag mud means.
Oh,
I don't think everybody knows that.
no,
Yeah.
pig grease. Pig grease, mud,
And your
chop
father
up a
told you
little
the
bit of
recipe.
brick.
He told you the
Leaves,
recipe.
yes, lime, rabbit skin glue, just a lot of different stuff.
Now she can't hear that word.
What? I know. Understand.
And then you make your,
So, come on in.
Yeah, Rob, move in, please, come on in.
Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, I think there's one thing that we have in common. We both did our work through our lives from when we were little kids. So,
and it's that work ethic.
yeah, you gotta have a body of work.
Come on, it's that
That's
work
what they taught me at school, in college. You must have three things. You must have a body of work. You must have an audience. See that work. And then you must have a market. First, a market. Because if you don't have a market, you're going to have to stop doing that work.
See, I didn't know anything about that.
Well, I was in New
They
York.
didn't tell me.
So in New York, you had to have that market. And you had to have the body of work, that's first. Because, you know, you could get a show and you could get an opportunity for a show and not have any work to put in it. So you've got to have the body of work. That means you got to be working.
All the time.
Right.
How did you
And
do that?
long
with your
hours, long hours.
I want to know how you did that with your teaching, because you were at the university in
I
California,
taught art.
and you were doing your art at the same time with it.
Yes, indeed. It was fabulous. And I taught art to the greatest little artist there is, kids. So how, if somebody standing right behind you knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Robert.
You know what you said to me a while ago? You said that the younger children are more inspired. And I always liked the upper grade children, but because I got them at an early age. But I'm seeing, I did things with the first grades that I could not do with my fifth graders. And it's an awesome.
Your work in Columbus, like as Faith is going to have here?
Well, I don't know if
She's
there's-
got
Because I know they've honored you. Tell us about the honor they just gave you in Columbus. Was there some honor that you were just awarded?
The Aminah Robinson
In-
Center.
Aminah
talk
Robinson
about
Center?
that.
you know, I don't think, is that out? Carol Genshaft has been working tirelessly on this project. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's a room or, I don't know. I know it's something. And I think that's good.
Yeah.
Coming out of the village.
Will it be something that people in America will hear about? Will it be
No.
on the news, or will it be some announcement so that we know it's in Columbus?
Yes, yeah, there will
Is it going to
be.
be connected with
It's
the
going
Columbus
to be
Museum?
designated the
It is.
Aminah Robinson
They're
Center.
doing,
And it will be for
they're
scholars. and for
building.
people who
Right.
wanna
but I
study
don't
her
know,
work.
I don't
Well,
know.
Aminah has a very good connection with the Columbus Museum.
My connection with the museum came in 1956. I was 16, and they included
my work in a group exhibition. And they, through the years, you know, I've seen them come and go, but they've always included me in maybe a program or do something through the years. And so, and
It's been a good place for you.
they've been wonderful.
Yeah, that's.
Yes, yes. And I hope I've been wonderful to them.
I think you have done, with the body of work you've done.
I give a lot to them,
Been
yes.
generous.
But I don't know if it's a museum. Someone said,
That's not, like, Faith's going to
no,
have a special.
I don't think it's nothing like that.
No, they won't do it.
A whole museum. No.
Faith, can you tell
The
your
room.
your museum?
Well, it will be finished, I'm told. If you have any questions, I would like to ask one right now of Aminah. And the question is, how do you see the art of 2010 changing from now to, you know, do you have any projections for the future of what art will become, what artists will be doing in their work, what will be happening that is different?
I feel that artists should be free to give whatever is given to them at an early age and to give it back. As they mature and grow, and hopefully the communities throughout America and the world will catch it and it will fly like your foundation and like you. I just would like to see them have the freedom to continue because it's on the shoulders of the elders like us and those that came before us that we fought very hard for our civil rights, and hopefully they can have the freedom to first not to forget, not to forget the history or the past, because it can be repeated if they're not careful, and to continue their work wherever it goes. And it doesn't have to be like these raganods. People think it's a quilt. It's not a quilt. I don't make quilts. I don't know anything about quilting. Raganods can come in any area of activity. They are lifelong works that belong not to me or to the people, but to the community, the entire community.
Now, what do you mean by that? They
By
belong
that
to
I
the
mean
community.
they should be placed, works that you put 30, 40, 50 years in should be placed in some kind of institution where they're going to be taken care of, specifically for young people coming up and for those to come. That's why I do the work that I do. There's no other reason why I should sit around, walk around in the world, creating this work, if it were not for our young people. That's why I do it. There's no other reason. And I'm hoping that others can catch it and sacrifice. I mean, it's not all that I do, but it's something that is held back for the people. It's my gift to the people, because what is inside of this work mainly came out of the community, came out of my family, so I'm giving it back. And it's to remind
I mean, are you literally giving it back? question you all are gonna know the answer to? Huh? Yeah. Come on, isn't it?
You mean, I'm hoping that those gifts that were given to me as a young child, and those people, all of the people in the community who gave to me, is a part of these Dragonines. Now, why do I use buttons and rag? Because that's what my mother gave to my sisters and I. We have to sew hundreds of buttons on rag or cloth to make beautiful tablecloths. And if those buttons weren't laid right, she cut it out, do it over. My father, on the other hand, say, let's go out and make these books. Now remember, I'm 3 years old. Hog books. So I try to stay with those traditions. And hopefully there will be an understanding of what I'm doing in these Dragonines, and others will give something their life's work. Maybe just a small portion that will go to specifically for young people coming up and for those to come.
That's very generous. It's a very generous point of view. But
Well, everything is not about money. It's never has been. That's my father always said. Even though I was so poor. I mean, you couldn't get any. But we had our work. You see, that's what we had. That's what made us very strong and independent.
2004, the Foundation describing her work as Homeric in content, quantity, and scale. And certainly that description was most apt, not only generally for Aminah's art, but for her current work. In 2004, she was at work on 2 giant cloth pieces, commissioned by the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. In Cincinnati, and had an exhibition of her wonderful children's books at the Chicago Art Institute. And where had she learned to be such a magical artist? Her family is to be given much credit for supporting her art practice during her childhood, and later, of course, she had received regular art training at the Columbus Art School, now the Columbus College of Art and Design. Graduating in 1960 and later taking classes at Ohio State University, Franklin University, and Bliss College. Over the years, she held a variety of jobs, including teaching art. But as she once stated, for me, art is not a job or a career. It's a way of life. Always has been. In 1988, Aminah and I met at the Drawing Center in New York City, where her work was included in an exhibition curated by Benny Andrews. Then we were both included in a group exhibition of quilts. So now we have known one another through the last 20 years of our lives. Long time, huh? Both of us living art as a way of life. This year is the year of Aminah's 70th birthday. All right. It is a great pleasure to celebrate this with her here in Englewood, in New Jersey, and to have the honor of bestowing on her the 2010 Lifetime Achievement Award from the Anyone Can Fly Foundation. Incorporated 2010 Celebrated Artist Lifetime Achievement Award. The Anyone Can Fly Foundation Incorporated is pleased to honor you, Aminah Brenda Lynn Robinson, for uncovering our glorious past history of African American art and enriching our present as both artist and educator. You have ensured our future in the art establishment canon of American and world art. Thank you for coming, and I think that kind of like closes our program, does it not? Oh, I'm taking your word. Oh. But I gave you the money. Okay, have a good time, and where's the music? Oh wait, we want to thank Miss Clark and her wonderful help who's here with her. And Miss Clark has been coming and feeding us fabulous food for the last, what, 10 years, 12, what? Yeah, it's been a long time, and it'll be another long time. I'd like to thank the foundation board. Everybody's here. Would you all stand up? Some of them are here. So, get your butt down. Uh-oh, get your butt down. Yes. Dad is eating a piece of cake, so he can't come and show himself. Okay, I'll come around that. But anyway, we have a wonderful board, and then we have all these wonderful friends. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you and our fabulous volunteers. And where are they?
Well, Shanine is still at the door. Shanine is watching the door. Anna is taking a little break. The bartender. No, I'm right here. Oh no, there's Anna. There's Shanine. Nice water.
Not taking a break.
That's our bartender, Barry Water.
Okay.
And Kyle. Kyle, where are you? Kyle does everything. Kyle is everything to everyone. And
there will be an auction on October 26th. October 6th at the ACA Gallery, and ACA Gallery is here. They're my gallery. They're enough. Dorian and Jeff. Okay. Every year we have our big auction, and people can come there and get art for almost nothing. Bupkis, we say.
I have a little announcement to make.
Okay,
Just a little quick announcement. I just wanted to mention that the Morristown Art Museum has an exhibition that will be on until July 26th.
Montclair.
Oh, the Montclair, sorry. Of the Julius Rosenwald Fund. And everybody should try to go and see it because he was supporting African American artists from the 1920s forward. This was the heir to the Sears and Roebuck fortune. And he was quite enlightened in his philanthropy. So try to get yourself out there. It's supposed to be an incredible exhibition at the Montclair Art Museum.
excellent. Before you end, I also would like to acknowledge our wonderful photographers. Brad is taking pictures, my daughter Faith.
This is
Joan,
Brad over here.
and Joan Ross. And these folks, they take fabulous photographs. Every time Mother has an event, there's these people who, when you see those gorgeous pictures on the internet, well, these are the folks that are contributing to the photography, as well as Grace, of course, who is a fabulous. Grace is also a fabulous photographer.
We have angels all around us. We're just really good photographers. Everybody's so talented and wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.